There's never a dull moment for a Norwich City supporter, and the 1995-96 season was more eventful than most. Highs and lows, ups and downs, and an unparalleled number of ins and outs. In at the season came Martin O'Neill as the club's new manager. O'Neill was the fans' choice and much was expected from him team. But after a few brief months, he was on his way out to Leicester, frustrated after just a few months by the lack of financial backup in his efforts to strengthen the team for a sustained push. And in came Gary Megson, the man chosen as his successor. In charge at the end of the previous season, he'd now be given slightly more time to make his mark. It didn't go as well as he'd hoped, so out he went at the end of a frustrating season. But not before two of his star players sold to boost the Canary coffers. Also out, chairman Robert Chase, who sold his shares after prolonged protests from fans about the way he ran the club.
Thank you all. Goodbye.
And soon after Chase out, it was Walker in. The return of the man the fans really wanted came on June the 21st. It's back to the future now with Mike Walker in the manager's seat. We'll be talking to him about the season ahead and the events of last season.
If they'd have gone down again, it would have been an absolute disaster. But it didn't happen, fortunately, so it gives us a chance for something to build on again.
And in truth, there seemed to be plenty to build on at the start of the 1995-96 season. Martin O'Neill had arrived, and expectations were high as the sun shone on the opening day.
Mills thumps it forward. Fortunately, he comes to Johnson. Picks up Bowen. Edie's wide on the left. There's a bit of space here now for Darren Edie. Alexander's getting back, but he can't get back quick enough. Cleared in some desperation by Kerry Hughes. And a proportion of the 2,000 Norwich City supporters have something to shout about at the far end, though. Edie, there's a bit of space here now. Chipped in nicely, and Newsom's in there. It's a goal, and they are in the lead. The big, powerful defender came up for that one. It was beautifully relayed. Luton weren't ready for it, and he picked it out superbly with the opening goal of the season for Norwich City with 13 minutes gone.
Yeah, good short corner, great delivery, great goal by Newsom in the far corner.
That's a lovely ball from Genchev to Thorpe. Alexander's gone forward. This is looking good for Luton. Covered there by Mills.
He's given a penalty.
It's a penalty. No, it's not. I thought he pointed to the spot. He's given a corner.
He's given a penalty.
Yes, he has.
He's definitely given a penalty.
I thought for a moment he was drifting by for the corner, but he pointed straight
immediately
to the spot.
put a penalty spot and ran away.
It's Mills coming across.
Yeah.
And Luton can get back in the game here. Justified decision or not?
He's come right across, unnecessary. Yeah, I don't know. He's flattened him. I don't think the lad had any chance of scoring.
And this might be an opportunity for the former Ipswich player, the Bulgarian international, Boncho Genchev, to take on Brian Gunn and put Luton back in the game. Genchev.
Well,
not much wrong with that.
That's one of the best penalties I've seen, right in the side netting.
Beautifully taken by the Bulgarian.
Sent Brian Gunn the wrong way. Even if it had went the right way, they've got no chance for that. Look at this, right in the side netting. Superb. Very confidently struck penalty. Oh dear.
Well played by Johnson. And a corner.
Good run by Johnson.
Now these corners have caused enormous problem for Luton. We've got Spencer Pryor in there. Ashley Ward and Newsom coming in from the back of the penalty spot as Adams prepares to curl one in. Newsom. Good gracious, he's done it again. Ward and Newsom coming in there, and nobody challenged, and it's straight in the back of the net. Once more, the Norwich City captain.
Yeah, well, from the last corner, it resulted in Ashley Ward having a free shot at goal from 8 yards, and that was really a free header. Keeper's come on the edge of the box, but Newsom's very determined. Another great delivery, and there's only one bloke wants to win that, and that's Newsom. Well played.
Where was the goalkeeper?
Flapping.
He decided to come, but it was Newsom with more power and more height, beats him to it, and they're back in the lead with,
After a minute, wasn't it?
John Newsom, a minute, possibly less than after Lund had equalised, to do it again. Good cross, powerful header, and the goalkeeper caught nowhere. Alexander, mistake, Colston, Ashley Ward, they've got freedom here for Adams. Adams driving it.
Oh, yes. Tremendous
What a goal! Great goal! Hit it very quickly, and goalkeeper Davis was well beaten. That was a wonderful goal, though. I think the goalkeeper thought he was going to knock it on and then hit it, but he hit it first time when the goalkeeper was taking his position, and that's 3 times he's been beaten. It's 3 goals to 1.
Yeah, it was a bad ball by Alexander, who came inside and hit a Norwich player with the ball and give it away, and then Ashley Ward spread it out wide. And is it a tremendous first-time shot that the goalkeeper wasn't expecting?
He certainly caught Kelvin Davis out there, but he hit it beautifully.
Certainly did.
So the ideal start to the season. 2 goals from captain John Newsom, and the pre-season predictions that Norwich would be among the top sides in the division given a speedy endorsement. All very encouraging for an anxious Martin O'Neill.
Well, I was more nervous than the players were before the game, but that's always the case. I always have been. I was bad enough as a player, but I'm 15 times worse as a manager. No, it was just nice. It was a nice day. I thought the crowd kept behind us the whole time, and that was very, very encouraging. When Luton had equalised in the match, the game could go either way, and I felt the crowd kept us going as much as anything.
The crowd was out in force again for the first home game of the season against Sunderland 6 days later. That turned out to be a frustrating afternoon. But then Sunderland were destined to take the First Division title and a place in the Premiership a few months later.
Akinbaye. This is clever football from Norwich. Good run from Adams. Sweeping first-time cross, and Sharon inches away from getting on target.
Mike Sheeran off target there, but he was to find his shooting boots in spectacular style later in the season, after moving on to Stoke City. But back in August, it was Sunderland who came closest to breaking the deadlock. Lee Howie saw his header hit the post, and with Martin O'Neill watching anxiously, there was more defending to do for Norwich. Richard Ord hit the crossbar, and the match ended goalless. Worse was to come for Norwich with a trip to Birmingham City. The Canaries found Jonathan Hunt in unstoppable form, and any thoughts that promotion would be plain sailing were now forgotten. Certainly Martin O'Neill was well aware of the task ahead, and his players were left in no doubt either, as Hunt found and exploited the gaps in defence. Chances for Norwich were few and far between at St Andrews. Mike Sheeran's header could have made all the difference. But Birmingham escaped, and Hunt was able to complete his hat-trick. Spencer Pryor penalised for handball in the penalty area. And 3 points comfortably secured for Birmingham, thanks to Hunt's spot kick, which gave Brian Gunn little chance. Norwich did manage to reduce the deficit to 3-1, the persistent Sheeran with a late header, but the Canaries had tasted defeat for the first time. The next match brought Oldham to Carrow Road, but they were destined to assume a supporting role, as one man took all the attention. Robert Fleck, still a hero with the fans, and now back with the Canaries on loan from Chelsea. He was keen to make an early impact and persuade Martin O'Neill to make the move permanent.
Such for Norwich. Olathorn. Haven't seen too much from him in this midfield role this evening. Such again. And now Bowen. Edie is free on the left. Fleck wants the return. Lets in Olathorn. Just so close from Robert Olathorn. Fleck's involvement again can't be overlooked. Allowed that ball through to Olathorn, and it very nearly caught Oldham. The second half underway, a second half in which Norwich really need to stamp their authority on this game. But at the moment it's Oldham who come away quickly with Mark Brennan and McCarthy. Oh, that's off the bar. Gunn managed to get a hand to it. Haller puts it away. From nothing, Oldham Athletic are in front. Gunnar Haller. Such. Bowen. Olathorn ahead, together with Fleck. Bowen's gone for the return, and gets there! That's more like it. Smiles from Akinbaye. But it was the return from Robert Fleck which got Mark Bowen through. He stretched out a leg, inch perfect. Great 1-2, just like the old days for Norwich. Fleck and Bowen scores. Into the last 10 minutes. Flashed across the face of goal, can they do it? Johnson. The celebrations start. Andy Johnson. 10 minutes of the second half remaining. Norwich in front. Edie's curling cross. Oldham managed to get it away first time, but not with Johnson standing on the goal line.
I had to get involved straight away to get my confidence back, but I had that once I got the ovation from the crowd. And as soon as I got the first couple of touches, it was as if I've never been away.
He doesn't know much about Ashley
Robert
Ward.
Fleck back in business in Canary colours then. And when Port Vale came to Carrow Road a few days later, he teamed up with Ashley Ward for the first time.
Such with the throw. Adams bundled over. David Orr precise about where he wants the ball placed for this free kick. Edie precise with his cross. And Norwich City are in front. The celebrations are underway yet again. And again, it's Andy Johnson. He arrived at the far post against Oldham on Wednesday, and he's arrived at the far post again to score against Port Vale. Good movement by Norwich, and Johnson came in from a long way out to get there. Norwich ahead after 19 minutes. Olathorn. Edie continues the run. Fleck's in the middle if they can find him. That's a great goal. Robert Fleck. He's back now. That was Norwich at their best. Olathorn to start with. Edie whipped the ball in first time. And how about that from Fleck? Aimed to perfection. Great run from Edie. Great finish from Fleck. Norwich 2 up now after 25 minutes. He curls it in. They've got it this time. Lee Mills the scorer. Lee Mills denied by the heroics of Brian Gunn just a couple of minutes ago. But he's got some revenge now. Boyne was guarding the post, but it was a good header from Mills. and it just squeezed in.
So Norwich in confident mood as they travelled to Bramall Lane to take on Sheffield United. It was a match which was to prove both eventful and controversial. United were bottom of the league, a plight which was destined to improve dramatically as the season progressed. But Ashley Ward gave Norwich the lead after Andy Johnson's shot had hit the crossbar, and Norwich seemed to be heading for another 3 points and possibly a place at the top of the table. But then the equaliser, headed in by Nathan Blake. It left Brian Gunn furious. He felt Blake was offside. Gunn's continued protest prompted a red card as he made his way down the tunnel for half-time. Norwich reorganised, Robert Fleck was substituted, and then he too incurred the wrath of the referee and was banished from the touchline himself. Standing keeper Rob Newman was beaten just once, but it was enough to give the Blades all 3 points. A setback, no doubt, but next it was off to Wolves to take on the division's most notable underachievers, where an impressive Canary performance brought 3 valuable points.
Here's Ashley Ward. Dean Richards getting the better of him. The Yorkshireman from Bradford. Here's Mills. This is Fleck. Shot coming in, 1-0. Andy Johnson, the scorer. His 3rd goal of the season. And Norwich City take the lead here at Molineux. Johnson's delight signals the goal that puts them ahead. The header comes out. Fleck gets the touch here, but look at the space Johnson has, and he drills it low past Mike Stowe, and Wolves trail by 1-0. Here's Fleck. Ward shot, 2-0. Oh my word. Ashley Ward, who's hardly been in the game all night, and he comes up with a left foot cracker there that gave Mike Stowe no chance at all. And Wolves are trailing Norwich City by 2-0.
Next up at Carrow Road it was Millwall. At the time it was a top of the table match. Millwall in 2nd against Norwich in 3rd. But it turned out to be a disappointing match. A goalless draw with not too many chances. What little action there was came mainly at the Millwall end, but goalkeeper Casey Keller was not to be beaten. After the match, the league table showed Norwich in 5th and Millwall 2nd. But Millwall were to slip dramatically as the season progressed. Relegation was their ultimate fate. Norwich, meanwhile, turned their attentions to the Coca-Cola Cup, a chance to resume their winning ways against 3rd Division Torquay. The first leg was played at Carrow Road, and it gave one of the strikers on the fringe of the Canary first team a chance to stake his claims.
Now Akinbaye. Still Akinbaye, and he's found it. Adi Akinbaye. No wonder he's happy. 15 minutes gone, and Adi Akinbaye showing great pace and great acceleration. And also, it must be said, great composure. And what a good finish. Another in-swinger. Chance now for Crook. Number 2, Ian Crook. "20 minutes gone, and Norwich City 2 up. They always pose a threat at set pieces, and there is no answer to the shot from Ian Crook. Newsom. Now it's Sheeran.
That's number 3. At long last, Mike Sheeran will be delighted with that. Bays had no chance. Martin O'Neill has spoken about the need for Mike Sheeran to find some confidence, and you can't argue with that. Norwich City all smiles at the start of the second half, and that's understandable. 3 goals up, and 3 goals scored at a canter. Norwich always in command in the first half, always first to the ball, and always the more positive. No one more positive than Darren Eadie. Akinbaye. What a way to start the second half. 25 seconds of the second half gone, and that's number 4. Great run again from Eadie. Tantalising cross. Easy for Akinbaye. Akinbaye's second of the night. And a nice celebration to finish. O'Riordan and Hathaway poised over the free kick. A lot of movement in the penalty area. Here's O'Riordan. Hathaway. Still Hathaway. And he's squeezed it in. Totally unexpected. But Hathaway has pulled one back for Torquay. Well worked free kick because Hathaway peeled away. O'Riordan laid it off, and the gap was there for Hathaway, and he just squeezed it in past Marshall's left hand. Norwich on the attack. Handball, no, play on. Accidental. Adi Akinbaye looks disgusted. But Norwich do have a throw. Eadie will take. Eadie again. Good play by Eadie. Crook in some space. Bowen, gone for the return. Who's got the finish? It's Mike Sheeran. Another for Mike Sheeran. And a superbly worked goal. Crook, Bowen, it could have been Akinbaye. It ended up going in from Sheeran. Akinbaye up. And that's an own goal. A real disaster. And the anguish shows. Chris Curran alongside Ian Gore. Ian Gore it was who put the ball past his own goalkeeper. There was no real pressure, but Bays had come out too far, and that's number 6 for Norwich.
I've been waiting ages to just grab this goal and just had to come tonight. I needed to score tonight, otherwise I think the crowd would have probably gone into it, but I needed to score tonight and I'm very delighted with that, yeah.
A trip to Grimsby 3 days later could so easily have brought 3 more league points, but in the end the Canaries were more than happy to settle for just 1. Robert Fleck, playing his last match on loan, just about sealed the permanent move by scoring the opening goal. A few days later, Norwich paid £650,000 for his services. But a burst of 2 goals in 2 minutes put Grimsby in control and left Norwich goalkeeper Andy Marshall, playing in place of the suspended Brian Gunn, in a state of shock. The equaliser was scored by Gary Childs, and soon afterwards Grimsby went ahead. Another spectacular long-range effort, this time from Nicky Southall. Things got even worse for Norwich when winger Darren Eadie was sent off. He was as shocked as anybody to be given the red card for a foul. But Norwich refused to crumble, and they rescued a point late in the game. Adi Akinbaye the scorer, and the match ended Grimsby 2, Norwich 2. Now, as the season progressed, Leicester City were a team who'd figure prominently in the Norwich City story. But there were no hints of what was to come later when the two sides met at Carrow Road at the end of September.
Can Johnson conjure up something for Norwich now? Still Andy Johnson. Johnson with a shot. Good stop though by Poole. An opening out of nothing by Andy Johnson. 3 goals already this season. He's in great form and he showed great determination there. He decided to go on his own. He beat 1, he beat 2, and he found the shot. Great finish, but a good save by the keeper. Taylor now. Taylor. And Scott Taylor's prepared to go on and on. First of all, it was Olathorn who got the foot in. Here's Grayson. Low. And that's in from Heskey. The teenager. Emil Heskey. Less than 3 minutes remaining. Grayson, low, and eventually the final touch from Heskey.
I mean, all the games are going to be difficult in this league. It doesn't matter. I mean, showed last week when we played at Grimsby, it was a tough game. We had to battle hard, and you know, no game's going to be easy.
A 1-0 defeat then, and Norwich got another shock when they travelled to Torquay for the second leg of their Coca-Cola Cup tie. An early setback there as Torquay took the lead. But Norwich steadied themselves thanks to a bit of good fortune.
Olathorn with the cross in, that's awkward for Bays and it's gone in! Oh dear, Ashley Bays caught off his line. Can hardly believe it. And Robert Olathorn puts Norwich City back on level terms on the night and restores their 5-goal advantage on aggregate. Just really a speculative cross. I don't think it was intended as a shot. Bays was off his line, despite all the backpedaling, couldn't keep it out. Held in by Hawthorne, and Lee Barrow puts the ball into the net, but did it come off the hand, I wonder? Well, the Norwich players are claiming handball. Eventually the goal is given, and I can tell you that it is 2-1 to Torquay United. Now Milligan. Mills. Adams. Nice little turn inside for Milligan. Adams has gone for the return. Fleck in the middle. So too is Carey. Goal making a bit of a mess of the clearance. Oh, a cracking goal. Well, Darren Eadie has been threatening to do that ever since he came on. Torquay guilty of not getting the ball clear when they had the chance. Eadie Gore should have got rid of it there. Once Eadie found the space, no mistake with the shot, right into the corner. Darren Eadie will be pleased with that one, I'm sure. They'll find O'Neill. Dormer has come across to make the challenge. They're just taking it away from him. Good cross in as well. Danger here for Torquay, and that's number 3 from Danny Mills.
So Danny Mills' first senior goal for the club and a comfortable 9-3 aggregate win for Norwich. Next in the cup it will be Bradford City and a match to remember. Next in Division 1 it was Stoke City.
Akinbaye squeezes off into the path of Fleck, and then Johnson, good save. O'Neill, and Akinbaye has scored. .32 minutes gone, and Norwich City have the lead. Akinbaye. Pesky Solido. Carruthers. And Wallace! 1-1.
If the fans were still waiting to see the best of Norwich, well, it probably came in the second half against Barnsley. Some excellent football orchestrated by Ian Crook, but not before Barnsley had taken the lead.
Eden goes for the return. Eden, and that's it. Nicky Eden. The opening emerged, and Eden was able to take advantage. Good return pass, and a good finish as well from the young fullback. Crook, who's had few opportunities to come forward. This is better from Norwich. O'Neill pushes his way through and wins the corner. Johnson's up there with Ward, Johnson, and eventually Newsom gets the equaliser. John Newsom. O'Neill had won the corner. Johnson and Ward nearly got in each other's way, but that was easy for Newsom. Bullock, Sheridan. One touch stuff from Barnsley again. One touch too many there though. Crook. Johnson. Great forward run by Andy Johnson. Ward in the middle. So to his fleck. Johnson. 2-1. Great goal by Andy Johnson. Norwich in front. A super run forward by Johnson. And when he cut inside, the shot unstoppable. Teased the defender. And what a finish. Ollathorne with a throw. Bowen. Whipped in. That was interesting. Here's Fleck. Good finish. A goal from nothing for Robert Fleck. Barnsley caught at the back then. Amazing back heel. And eventually it came off Moses. No mistake by Fleck. An opening from nothing for Robert Fleck, and he doesn't waste opportunities like that.
3-1 to Norwich, and the team in good heart going into their next match at Charlton. But behind the scenes things weren't so harmonious. Martin O'Neill's lengthy attempts to sign Hull's Dean Windus were on the point of collapse, his hopes of strengthening the team foiled. And when Charlton took the lead at the Valley through Lee Bowyer, more frustration seemed imminent. But that lead lasted just 4 minutes. The Norwich equaliser was scored by Mark Bowen, but it was created by another young player who was beginning to catch the eye, Keith O'Neill. The young Irishman flying down the wing to provide the cross for Bowen to score and secure a 4th draw in 6 league matches for Norwich. After the match, the league table showed Norwich in a good position to mount a serious challenge for promotion in 8th place, but to most people's eyes, still in need of more strength in depth. The place in the Premiership was of course the main target for the season, but the Coca-Cola Cup was a welcome distraction, and in round 3, Bradford were at Carrow Road. Most people thought Norwich would get through to the next round fairly comfortably against 2nd division opposition. But Bradford had beaten Nottingham Forest in the previous round, and in the end Norwich's best chance of winning at the first attempt came very early in the match.
Andy Johnson quickly on the ball and trying to close down Hamilton. Crook for Norwich. Newsom forward. Bowen. Eadie's made his first run, and Eadie gets there first. Still with Darren Eadie. What a great start. But the chance wasted. There's Mike Milligan, but it was a great opening for Norwich City. Darren Eadie it was, back in action after a 3-game suspension. He waltzed through then, and Ward really should have hit the target. Ford. Aimed at Ormond Royd. Right. Kept it in. Header there from Schawler. The closest Bradford City have come. And Paul Schawler might think he should have tested Brian Gunn then. Long ball initially by Ford. Good cross by Wright, and a header wide.
So Norwich facing a replay at Valley Parade. But before that, a couple of important league matches. Another of the promotion candidates, Tranmere, provided the opposition at Carrow Road at the end of October.
Eadie beats him for pace. Brandon's trying to close him down. That's a good ball for Johnson. He's making a good run. Freck is on his left. Takes over. Eadie wide out there. They're coming forward in numbers. And forward goes Johnson.
Well, that is a cracker. No doubt.
Hell of a goal.
That is a cracker. What a great move. Well, there must have been at least 7 or 8 passes there. And Johnson will be forceful running. You know, it's a good finish as well. Good touch in his chest. Bangs it in. But well played, you know, that's a sweet move. And Eadie was superb. He was the instigator. Look at that. Lovely touch. Keeper gets a touch, but can't keep it out of the net. But Darren Eadie there, that was showing absolute class on the right-hand side. And there's the finish again, just stretching out the right foot and past the helpless Coyne.
Jones on the near post. It's flicked on and almost into the back of his own net by Otherthorne. Gracious me, that was a let-off. Diving header there by Otherthorne, still not over. And it's in, and it's Moore. Ian Moore, the youngster, has done it again. Within 60 seconds of the restart, it's 1-1, and the kid has struck.
Norwich were unable to press home their territorial advantage after that. The closest they came, this header from Darren Eadie, well saved by Danny Corn. Once again, it was frustrating for Martin O'Neill. And after the match, the fans protested at Robert Chase's apparent reluctance to dip into the transfer market. They were probably even more frustrated after the next match at Huddersfield. It was a game of great entertainment, but ultimately not the kind of performance which would lead to the promised land of Premiership football. Huddersfield ahead after 16 minutes through Ronnie Jepson. And that's the way it stayed until early in the second half, when Lee Makel and Paul Dalton created the opening for Steve Jenkins, a new signing from Swansea. (2-0 to Huddersfield, but remarkably, Norwich did find a way back into the match through striker Ashley Ward. His name hadn't been on the score sheet for almost 2 months, but he put the record straight with 2 in 12 minutes. Both were well-taken goals, both owed much to the trickery of Darren Eadie. The second was undoubtedly the more impressive. Eadie with the incisive run down the wing and the perfect cross for Ward. But Norwich were unable to hang on to a well-deserved point as Huddersfield got the winner with 8 minutes left. It had seemed that Norwich were the team more likely to pick up all 3 points, but Dalton had other ideas, pantsing after Brian Gunn could only parry Makel's shot from the edge of the penalty area. The match ended Huddersfield 3, Norwich City 2. After that, players and fans alike were in need of an occasion and a performance to savour. It came back in West Yorkshire in the Coca-Cola Cup replay at Bradford. The match could hardly have been a bigger contrast to the first one between the two sides, which ended goalless at Carrow Road. The commentators for the replay are Ian St John and John Hell.
There's a chance here for Ward, there's a goal here for Ward. Ashley Ward, it was the simplest of goals for him.
The Bradford defence really, they're caught absolutely wide open once they've given the ball away. It's the Norwich fans who are cheering, and Ashley Ward does what he did here a year ago when he scored on this ground for Crewe. Bradford 0, Norwich 1. That's good play, and that's good play as well. Here's Tolson turning and getting a dig for cross in. Here's Showler, must be 1-1, perfectly created. What an easy finish for Paul Showler, and Bradford celebrate the equaliser they wanted. Well met by Mohan, and then sliced through here, and Ward, there are two of them. Surely Norwich must get a second here. It's gone to Ashley Ward, and Bradford torn apart again. Jacobs races across towards the linesman to complain about the absence of an offside flag, and I think you'll see here that the Norwich man broke at the perfect moment. There were two of them where it's impossible to tell from that, but Ward doesn't care. He's gone on and Norwich have the lead back.
Well, it is very difficult, John, with the angle of the camera there to say if he was onside or offside. But, I mean, 2 against 1, the poor goalkeeper had no chance.
Tommy Wright didn't get much service in the first half, wants a bit more in the second. Here's Ormond Royd now, one-on-one. And Tommy Wright, and he'll pull it across here. And Tolson was coming in, and he's still in there. They flap at it. He's hooked up the line, it's in now! It's Ormond Royd, it's 2-2. Glee for the Bradford fans in the early minutes of the second half. The cup tie comes alive again, and this fella can't get goals in the league, but he's getting them in the cup. Liebert will knock one in here. Here's Ormond Royd, there's his header, and Gunn, and it's in! It's a goal for Tolson! Bad goalkeeping from Brian Gunn, disconsolate in the back of the net. Bradford are in front here now. They've turned the tie on its head again.
I mean, it was a good ball in by Liebert, up to the back post. There was a challenge by Ormond Royd. And, you know, he just got in there, Tolson, didn't he?
So, Robert Fleck can bring Norwich City back to life. This to make it 3-3. Oh, and Ward makes the save! And Bradford fans will believe that they're going through now. Terrific stop from Gavin Ward. Not the best struck penalty you've ever seen from Robert Fleck, though. And have Norwich City blown their chance. So, Bradford still have some nerve-tingling moments to get through. Can they hold out? Here's the header in from Pryor. Oh, it's in! Or has the whistle? It's a goal for Norwich City, is it?
Ashley Ward has scored.
Ashley Ward has scored, and it is 3-3. I hesitated for a moment there because I thought I'd heard a whistle. But the goal stands, and Norwich incredibly are back in this amazing cup tie again. Minutes to go here at Valley Parade. Bradford City 3, Norwich City 3. Unlike in some competitions, the away goals do not count double, but hang on, because Norwich might get another one here from Fleck. They have. Amazing, in the first 20 seconds of extra time, Robert Fleck atones for his penalty miss, and Norwich are back in front now. Ward shakes his head, cannot believe it. Robert Fleck jubilant. I mean, Norwich in front.
Another mistake, really, by Bradford. That was a shocking mistake. There was Ward, just rolls it back, and Robert Fleck, nobody there, thank you very much, just side puts it into the net. Oh, lovely chance for him. What a start for Norwich.
Johnson. He's still here, Andy Johnson. This might be it. He's finished it now. Bradford distraught. Andy Johnson goes right through the heart of the Bradford City defence, and a scything shot into the net. 5-3 to Norwich, and surely they booked their passage.
2 minutes to go, you think it's almost over, but we just never gave up, and Ward got the third goal. Fantastic for us, and I felt in extra time if we could get in front we would win the game. Fleck made up for it, atoned for the mistake, and it just all in all a fantastic night for us.
The next Coca-Cola Cup challenge would come against Bolton, but in the meantime back to the league and Crystal Palace at Carrow Road. The match was settled by a single goal, scored by Andy Johnson just a minute before half-time. But the match also brought injuries for 3 key players, the goalscorer himself, along with Ian Crook and Darren Eadie. All would miss out on the next match, and what a match to miss. It was the one that fans had been waiting for so eagerly, the East Anglian derby against Ipswich Town. And typically it was full of drama, full of controversy. Off the field, Chairman Robert Chase spoke for the first time about the possibility of relinquishing control of the club. On the field, it was 3 points, just.
Oh, and Ward might get this one by default. He's got support coming up on the flank. Like a trip from Mason. And it'll bring Newsom and Pryor up from the back. And Newsom, the goal scorer, might have let in the opposition for a possibility here. And Milligan is coming up from the back if they fail to get there. And there's a good one! It's there! It's Newsom.
Big John Newsom, such an important member of this team, puts us 1-0 in front.
Well, it's an easy header, beautiful cross, no real challenge, and Craig Forrest had no chance whatsoever. 1-0, a great start for Norwich City. Within the first 10 minutes, Newsom puts them 1 up. Pryor with Matthew. Be a bit careful about leaning on him too much. And Fleck dropping on that one. Great goal! Ashley Ward did a great job there. Martin O'Neill celebrates. The Norwich City supporters celebrate. Robert Fleck with the second in this local derby, and that could be the killer blow.
That's game, set and match now, really. I can't see Ipswich coming back from this. Wardy's done a great job again. 7 stitches in his head. Competes with Tony Mowbray, doesn't let him get a good header clear. That's a lovely volley.
Brilliant strike from Robert Fleck. Nice bit of hold-up play by Ashley Ward. And the second goal for Norwich City. Foul by O'Neill.
Technically, the battle between Geraint Williams and Mark Bowen's been very interesting in the middle of the park.
9 minutes left, still 2-0. Appeals for handball.
He's given the penalty.
He's given it.
Really, Robert Oliphant's got the wrong side, dragged him back. No need to do that.
Well, we might have something on our hands here with 9 minutes left. They're battling on the edge of the area, pulling him back. No, he's pulling him.
He's pulling him, you know. And Alex Matthews, a little bit experienced, been at Newcastle, knows when to fall over. It's human reaction as well. I can guarantee you, if Ipswich were winning 2-0, the referee, I don't think would have given that.
John Walk with a vital kick. He scores. 38-year-old John Walk, 9th goal in these local derbies, might have given Ipswich a chance here. 2-1 with just less than 9 minutes left. He's scored a few in his time, in his 24 local derbies, but that could be a very valuable one. Good penalty, just tucked inside the post. Brian Gunn knew roughly which way he was going, but couldn't get there. Now it's Ipswich Town fans who are up. Spencer Pryor hooks that one out. That'll do, as far as Norwich are concerned. The Ipswich supporters to our right on their feet. Mason, Williams, Tony Vaughan. Oh, and here's a chance here as Thompson goes down. It's a penalty, another penalty, a mistake by John Newsom, and Thompson goes down theatrically, and the referee says that's on the spot. Extraordinary goings on in this East Anglian local derby. Newsom made a mistake there. Thompson turns and he goes down, but really was Ashley Ward anywhere near him?
It's a dive, but it's a theatrical dive. The referee's got to make a decision. He's going over.
Thompson's got the
He's going over to speak to the linesman.
He's going over to speak to the linesman.
I can't see him changing his mind, but you've got to say Norwich have been desperately hard done by here.
It's already on the spot. John Walk's ready to take it.
Changed his mind. Oh, we've not heard the last of this. There's going to be a stink here.
George Burley on the touchline. Well, what would you imagine he was saying? Well, one decision and then changed. You can imagine how Ipswich Town are feeling about it.
Well, basically, you know, you look at it, players, no wonder players get frustrated and no wonder players lose their heads. There's every chance you could get a player sent off here. Woody's trying to get in front. Now he's got hold of him, but it's not really a tag. The boy can get away and score if he wants to. He's gone down, he's taken the easy option. I think justice has been done by a penalty not being given, but possibly I'm a little bit biased towards Norwich City.
And there is the final whistle. Norwich City have won this one by 2 goals to 1, but it ended in controversy when referee Kevin Lynch first gave a penalty which John Work converted, then the linesman consulted with him and another penalty was in fact disallowed. Let's quickly go to the touchline and talk to George Burley. Stuart.
George, what is your view of that controversial penalty decision?
Well, he's gave a penalty. Say referees don't change their mind. He's gave a penalty and then for some reason disallowed it when he talked to the linesman. But he's gave it. He's in charge of the game. He's gave it and then he's suddenly disallowed it.
Well, at the moment the ball was played into the penalty area, all my attention was focused on the players going for the ball. I didn't suspect that there would be any involvement of offside, so I felt there was a penalty decision to be given. Once I'd given it, I then noticed that the linesman was flagging for an offside infringement prior to the award of the penalty. Well, as you know, there was a bit of a fracas after that, so when we calmed that down, just went across to confirm. Obviously, if the player was offside prior to the penalty decision, I had to backtrack and give the original offside, which is exactly what I've done.
Plenty of heated debate then, but what did Mike Walker, then little more than an interested observer, make of the key incident?
I thought it was a brave decision. I know the referee got slaughtered for it, and obviously from Ipswich's point of view it was cost them the game. But I happen to think that he did the right thing, because one of my arguments all through football has been that often decisions are made and they don't consult the linesman, who is often in a better position. So on this occasion he does it, and he changes his mind, he gets slaughtered anyway. So obviously, if you're a Norwich City supporter, you're pleased anyway. But I thought it was commendable from the referee to do that and have the courage to do it.
And whatever the rights and wrongs of the referee's decision, Norwich was suddenly stringing together some impressive results. Next came a trip to the Hawthorns.
That's a lovely ball played through. Here's a chance for Andy Hunt. Round the goalkeeper, Hunt surely. Albion 1-0. And what a delightful pass from David Gilbert to open the Norwich door.
Fires through.
That broke very handily for Albion. Oh, for a minute they make a complete hash of it between them. They could suffer the consequences. Flex in here. What a disaster for Albion. And the Norwich bench is up. And you're not surprised because Robert Fleck strikes at a critical time for Norwich City just before the break. It's the perfect platform for Norwich to set something up because they've got some big men in there. And it was beyond Ward. And Albion coped okay with that one. And again they lose possession straight away. And it's flicked through here. What a chance. Must be 2-1 it is. Scott's first. A debut goal for Keith Scott. The Norwich fans celebrate. The Canaries in front for the first time on the night, and a dream beginning for the new boy. They've swapped him for Mike Sheeran, who's gone to Stoke City in return, and Scott, in the perfect position, finished delightfully. Scott, plenty of width about Norwich at the moment. Taken on intelligently and sliced straight in the air. And this might be three. It is. It's tucked away beautifully with the outside of his boot by Neil Adams. Martin O'Neill off the bench. Delight for the Canaries fans that they are really on song. And a hammer blow to the Albion struck by Adams. It was a well-constructed move, a perfectly flighted ball in from Such. And when the ball dropped, Neil Adams was first to react. It's all rather frantic, but now when Norwich break, they have a chance to set up a fourth goal. Oh, Ashley Ward, surely 4-1. Albion simply torn apart. They have no answer. The manager cock a hoop. It's a long time since Norwich won here at the Hawthorns. They are surely on their way to 3 points now. Such had broken so quickly, and Ashley Ward, who's in prime scoring form at the moment, wraps it past Fettis. But where was the Albion defence when it was most needed? The ball in was an incisive one, and so was the finish. Albion have won so little in the air tonight, and those three centre-backs, Polston, Newsom and Pryor, doing a good job for Norwich. The referee gives the penalty. Scott's push. Well, it had to be, I think. Ashcroft inside the area just, and Keith Scott, it was clumsy as much as anything. But here comes Hunt. Oh, and Gunners made the save. And if ever you have to say this is not Albion's night, this is the time. It really is not their night, is it? Andy Hunt deciding to go for the straight shot, and he picked the wrong option.
Among those on target in that match, Keith Scott, who'd recently arrived at Norwich from Stoke, with Mike Sheeran moving in the opposite direction. Scott was to score again in the next match at Watford.
Such forward for Norwich. They look dangerous when he's in possession. And he whips it into that area, and it's just cleared at full stretch by Millen. And Norwich, for the first time almost in this game, have most of their side in the Watford half. And here's a chance for Fleck. Tries to tee it up. Ward's coming in on it. Goal for Ashley Ward. And almost for the first time in this game, Norwich got bodies in the box and benefit.
Yeah, that was a well-worked goal, as you said, John, at the time. It was the first time Norwich looked like they were in the Watford half with an authority, and they passed the ball, and Fleck did well. He pulled off his defender, and I believe it was Alathorn, oh no, it was Adams who's crossed the ball there, and he's done well, he's picked off, and Ashley Ward's got in there and picked his defender off. They'd be pleased. That was a well-worked goal. As you see, the ball's hit diagonally, Fleck's pulled off, he's got a good header across, and Ward's got himself inside the defender.
Alathorn's ball in, Scott comes for it and scores! Just what Norwich wanted, just what Watford couldn't afford.
That was a tremendous goal. That was excellent play. Alathorn did very, very well to get the cross in, and Scott's finished excellently there. Just what Norwich wanted, and now Watford have really got themselves work cut out. It's a great cross. It's curled round the defender. It's at the far post, and Scott's done very well to finish that nice and firm.
Good striker's goal, this one. That's why they've signed Keith Scott from Stoke City. 2-0.
5 wins in a row for Norwich, and suddenly their promotion prospects were beginning to look a good deal brighter, tucked in behind Millwall. And interestingly, Derby County, one of the teams who'd go on to clinch promotion, nowhere to be seen. Norwich in buoyant mood then as they entertain Premiership side Bolton in the Coca-Cola Cup. Chances were few and far between in a goalless draw. Darren Eadie shot just wide for Norwich there, but they could easily have lost the match. Brian Gunn playing his 400th game for the club, well beaten by John McGinley's shot and rescued by the crossbar. All that meant another replay. In the league, Stoke were the next visitors to Carrow Road, but it was a disappointing afternoon, particularly for Keith Scott, who came so close to scoring against his former club. And things went from bad to worse for him and the team as Stoke escaped with all 3 points, thanks to a cruel deflection on this shot from Nigel Gleghorn after 53 minutes. Beaten 1-0, but Norwich had a chance to put things right quickly with another home match a week later, this time against Grimsby.
Bonetti is wide to the left. Here is Bonetti. Delays getting the cross in. Instead he finds Croft. Test this for Norwich. And Grimsby in front. It's Livingston. Adams. Well played, Adams. That's a test for the goalkeeper. And that's the equaliser. And it's Ashley Ward. 34 minutes gone, and Ashley Ward's first goal at Carrow Road this season. Fleck. So difficult to wrestle off the ball, Robert Fleck. Now Eadie. Cracks one in. Whoa! Darren Eadie. He deceived everybody. Good play by Bonetti. They're queuing up in the middle now. Good header, good goal.
If Grimsby's equaliser was a shock to the system, it was nothing compared to the events that followed 8 days later before the match against Leicester. Fears about the extent of the rift between boardroom and dressing room confirmed in dramatic fashion and revealed on Anglia television by Kevin Piper.
Hello there, we start today with news that Norwich City manager Martin O'Neill has resigned just hours before this afternoon's live televised match at Leicester City.
O'Neill would go on to become Leicester manager soon afterwards. But that afternoon in December, his old club ran out under the temporary guidance of Paul Franklin, and the players did their best to forget all about the upheaval.
Good break this by Norwich. Good return as well for Eadie. Great effort and a great goal. What a super start for Norwich. A brilliant opening created by Robert Fleck. His first league goal of the season last Saturday, and that's his second. Whoa, and that's number 2. It's Fleck. A claim for Neil Adams for the free kick. Curling away all the time, back off the post, and look at Fleck's reaction. Great effort and a great goal. What a super free kick. Well, Leicester are back in it now. Here is again, Mike.
Yeah, just round the outside of the ball, great strike. And Gunny's done everything he can, and no, couldn't stop that. Tremendous goal. Now, obviously, that's the lift they needed.
And the Leicester players beginning to look for the ball. Good turn by Heskey. Great, super finish. And it's Roberts. Here's Heskey. Bowen didn't have a chance, neither did Gunn. And Roberts into the roof of the net. Olathorn's giving it away. Heskey, he's got the pace and he's got the composure. Emile Heskey. 3-2 Leicester. And what a turnaround.
Norwich played very well, particularly in the first half, to get 2-0 up, and really looked like the only team that were going to win it. You have to say on the day, particularly early on, they looked like the team that was going to go up, and Leicester probably looked like also-rans. But everything again got turned upside down. As I was saying, it's not all over to that final whistle. The young lad Heskey came on, who for me was the man of the match. Even though he was only on for maybe half an hour, but he changed the game completely and ended up scoring one and making one. But ran Norwich ragged, and I'd say unfortunately for Norwich it was the second setback of that weekend, in as much as obviously the manager resigning and then the team losing.
The next match, the Coca-Cola Cup replay against Bolton, inevitably brought renewed protests against chairman Robert Chase. In the stand, Gary Megson, a spectator for this one, but the man who'd soon be taking over as manager for a second spell. He saw Norwich and Bolton battle to another goalless draw, which meant the dreaded penalty shootout, a make-or-break situation which brought out the best in Canary keeper Brian Gunn. But Bolton's Keith Brannigan faced the first penalty, which was taken by Neil Adams.
(1-0 Norwich). And not a flicker of emotion from Neil Adams. McGinley against his old school chum. And he's missed it. Norwich have the advantage. Milligan's missed. Norwich still have the advantage, but they've taken one more penalty. Good stop by Gunn. Bolton have yet to score. De Freitas was lazy, but Gunn had to get there. We've had 4 penalties, 3 have been missed. What can Ashley Ward do here? He's taken a long run, and again it's been saved. Good save by Brannigan. It was the right height for the goalkeeper. This time it's 1-1. Gunn sent the wrong way, and the relief is evident. Darryl Such. And he's missed it. Wide. Now the 20-year-old substitute. It's Whittaker, and it's a goal. Bolton in front. Stuart Whittaker makes it 2-1 to Bolton. Smack down the middle. Mark Boyne has to score, and he does. Sasha Kurcic, already very popular here at Burnden Park. It's Kurcic against Gunn, and Gunn stopped it. What a super save again by Brian Gunn. He rose to the occasion when it mattered most, and we go into sudden death. 10 penalties, 4 have been scored. It's Bolton 2, Norwich 2, and it's John Newsom's turn. He's done it. 3-2. Bolton have to score now. Good penalty. Patterson has to score. And Gunn saved it again. He grabs onto the ball. And even their disagreements with the club chairman, Robert Chase, forgotten now. I think Gunny wants to keep the ball. That says nobody's having that.
Norwich through to the quarter-finals of the Coca-Cola Cup, a match against Birmingham City. And Brian Gunn had his own memento. Delight too for caretaker manager Paul Franklin, but he was to leave a couple of days later as Megson was installed as Norwich manager.
I said to the referee after the game, I said, I've made a hat-trick of saves, so surely I can take the match ball. But we had to check with the officials, but they've been very good, so it's a nice little keepsake for the future, and I'll get all the lads to sign it. Maybe not the ones who missed the penalties, but I'll get all the rest of the lads to sign it, and I'll keep it in the mantelpiece.
The Christmas and New Year programme began at Portsmouth with defeat for the Canaries and didn't really improve. John Durnin scored the only goal of the game at Fratton Park. And then on Boxing Day, one goal was again enough to consign the Canaries to defeat. This time it was scored by Gary Jones of Southend United. This one a neat finish after the Norwich defence had failed to clear the danger. But no matter, the season of goodwill brought a rapid chance to put things right, as Reading provided the final opposition of 1995. Former Liverpool star Jan Molby was beginning a month-long loan spell at Carrow Road. Could he make the difference?
Plenty forward for Reading here. Dovchik with a free kick. Difficult one as well for the defenders. Chance here for Lambert. And that's a goal to Reading. James Lambert. Pryor up, Ward's under it, Johnson, 1-1. Andy Johnson, his 8th goal of a very productive season. Fleck, very nearly got Adams in. In the end, it was Ward who found him, and Adams finds Ward. And Ward's found the net. Ashley Ward, his 11th goal of the season, and Norwich 2-1 up. Bowen forward. Adams to whip in the cross. Fleck on the end of it. And that's the third. Robert Fleck. 2 goals in quick succession for Norwich. And 2 goals which have surely sewn this game up. Nogan did well there, gets the back heel and gets the goal. Great goal for Reading. Scored by Nogan, but created by the player manager. It was a super back heel there from Jimmy Quinn. And Nogan had continued his run. That's made it 3-2. It's a curl one, and it's in. It's curled in by the substitute, Dylan Kerr.
1995 then ended with Norwich in mid-table. 1996 would start in the toughest possible manner with a trip to the baseball ground. Derby County were enjoying a sparkling run of form. They'd won 8 of their previous 9 matches, but took the lead in controversial circumstances here. Norwich were down to 9 men because of injuries when Ronnie Willans beat Brian Gunn after 36 minutes. Gary Megson was dismissed from the dugout after protesting and was watching from the stands as his team equalised after an hour. Robert Fleck with his 9th goal since returning to Carrow Road. A diving header after Robert Ullathorne's shot had hit the woodwork. But if Megson thought justice had been done, he was left cursing his luck again with just a minute of the game left as Derby scored the winner through Marco Gabbiadini. That was always likely to be a difficult match, but FA Cup 3rd round weekend brought a challenge which few people thought would tax the Canaries too much against 2nd Division Brentford. But things didn't go according to plan.
In the end, it's been won back by Harvey. Plenty forward, chance here, and it's gone in. It's Hutchings. Newsom can't believe it, but Brentford are a goal up. Newsom far from happy, for as the cross came over, the melee of bodies which followed, Bradshaw was bundled off the ball, and it was off Hutchings, straight between Newsom's legs. Hutchings again. It's a great ball as well. Into the middle, second one. And it's the 17-year-old. It's Marcus Bent. An hour gone. Super combination between Taylor and Forster. Early ball. And a good finish as well from Marcus Bent. Newsom into the 6-yard box. Ward is there also. Newsom! They pulled one back. It's the skipper, John Newsom. 66 minutes gone, and John Newsom gives Norwich a glimmer of hope.
Gary Magson's second spell as manager was yet to yield a victory, but he can be forgiven for thinking that everything was against him. Norwich had chances to force the match into a replay, but Brentford returned to London looking forward to the 4th round. Despite that defeat, Norwich could still dream of Wembley, albeit in the Coca-Cola Cup. They took on Birmingham City just 4 days after that demoralising defeat for a place in the semi-finals. And Carrow Road again went quiet as Birmingham were awarded a penalty midway through the first half. John Newsom penalised for handball and injured in the process. Back problems would sideline the City skipper for several weeks. But of more immediate concern was the penalty itself. Could Brian Gunn produce a repeat of his performance against Bolton and stop Jonathan Hunt's spot kick? Of course he could. Now we pick up the action in the second half.
Ward. Forsyth put his foot in, it's Claridge now. He's away here, Steve Claridge. He slipped it past Gunn, and goes Francis! And this time he has scored. Adams with a free kick. It goes Robert Fleck. And it's over Sansom, and it's there. Robert Fleck has equalised for Norwich. Sansom misjudged it, and Robert Fleck has pulled his team level. His 10th goal since his return to Norwich this season, his second spell.
So this high-quality goal from Robert Fleck kept alive City's cup hopes. They faced another replay though, this time at St Andrews. But where was the first win under Gary Megson coming from? Perhaps in the northeast against Sunderland, a team now beginning to show the kind of form which would eventually gain them promotion.
Fleck is under it. Molby. Now a chance for Ward, and it's one he's accepted. Norwich in front. 12 minutes gone, and from nothing, Norwich are ahead.
Well, what a finish that is. There was no messing about whatsoever there from Ashley Ward, was there? You know, Molby tussling there. A little bit lucky, I suppose, a little bit fortunate, but there's a mistake. And Ward, watch this, has one look, whack, get in. That's the way strikers put them away.
So the waiting was over for Gary Megson, a winner at last. And Norwich were back in the top 6. Sadly, though, it didn't last long.
And Luton can break quickly here. No offside. It's Genship against Gunn. Has he got a finish? He's taken around the keeper, and that will be a penalty. And John Polston could be in big trouble here. Polston was the last defender, and he's got away with a yellow card. Brian Gunn has been in inspired form when it's come to facing penalties just recently. He saved one at that end in the Coca-Cola Cup against Birmingham City. Can he do it again against Boncho Guencha? Not this time.
But whatever the frustrations of their league form, Norwich still harboured a dream of Wembley. Next, it was off to Birmingham for their Coca-Cola Cup quarter-final replay. Jan Molby was lining up for the last time in Canary colours as his loan spell came to an end. And for long periods, it looked like being a successful send-off. Norwich had the better chances in the first half, most notably this one, which fell to Mark Bowen. Bowen just missed out there, but his namesake Jason Bowen made the most of an almost identical opening early in the second half, as the match really took off.
Bowen, that's 1-0. The substitution has worked for Birmingham City. Jason Bowen has been on the pitch for just 8 minutes, and Norwich didn't see him there. He came in behind Bradshaw, and he's given Birmingham City the lead.
Well, this is a great ball here. Look at the run there from Bowen. That was him out of the picture. Perfect ball, but what about this for a finish? Great goal.
Mulvey. Adams, who's relishing this new role in the centre of midfield. Adams again. Patient stuff this from Norwich. They're not panicking. They're working for the openings. Mulvey, worth having a strike from there. And that's the equaliser. Jan Mulvey. It could be his last game for Norwich. But if he goes out tonight, he goes out in style. 78 minutes gone. And Jan Mulvey has rescued Norwich. A cracking effort from Mulvey. He's done that so many times in the past from Liverpool.
Look at that, little
and
shimmy.
Now he's done it for Norwich.
What a strike that is.
Crane to take the corner. It's swung away from the goal. There's another header, and there's another goal. It's the skipper. It's Liam Dace. Barry Fry can't believe it. A game which has swung one way then the other. And look at that header from Dace. Nobody guarding the post. And Birmingham City in front.
I think this is the first time that Dace has got the better of Ward. And what a cracking header that is. That has goal written all over it.
Barry Fry delighted, but another manager at the time out of work could imagine the mounting frustration at Carrow Road.
Things were going downhill, the doom and gloom was rising. Yeah, it would have been very difficult to go on from there. But nevertheless, again, you're professionals and you've got to try and get yourself out of bother, which at that time they were sort of rapidly sinking into, or it appeared to be.
And what seemed to be a long-running saga against Birmingham ended 10 days later at Carrow Road with a league meeting between the two sides. Norwich could be forgiven for wondering what they had to do to beat the Blues, as Ashley Ward hit the post during a dominant spell. Things did improve briefly for Norwich, but only briefly.
Ward is through. Fleck wants it back. Newman is there. Here's Fleck. Ricochet. Ward. This time, yes. At long last, Ashley Ward gets the lucky break. That's his 13th goal of the season. Will it be lucky 13 for Norwich? Now Claridge to come back for Birmingham City. Escaped his marker. Great stop by Gunn. But Otto's put it away. Ricky Otto. Back in the first team and back on the score sheet.
That's the problem, like, you're at your most vulnerable when you score. We thought we'd done the job and then we stopped, like, but all the chances that we've had, we've been well on top for during the game, but it's that's the way it's going for us at the moment. We've got to get better in front of our goal.
Another disappointing afternoon for the Canaries, who by now had only the first division to concentrate on. Promotion was still a possibility, but there could be few more slip-ups. Sadly, there were too many during the month of February. The trip to Oldham brought a 2-0 defeat. Chris Makin scored the first, and midway through the second half, the home side added a second. This time it was scored by Stuart Barlow. Next, Norwich were aiming to complete a league double over Wolves. It was another entertaining match, but again the result was a major setback. Former England striker Steve Bull, the star of a Wolves victory, but Norwich contributed to their own downfall.
Chance here, excellent little chip, and that's beaten everybody. What a super goal that was. It's Steve Bull. Number 12 of the season for Steve Bull. And Norwich completely flat-footed. It came from nothing. Crook caught in possession, and look at that from Bull. Instinctive. Gunn had no chance. Norwich insists that the wall goes further back. The referee's happy though. Here's Crook. This time he's made it. It's the crafty crook. 25 minutes gone and Norwich level. Eadie now for Norwich, still with Eadie. That's two. Darren Eadie. And 2 in a minute for Norwich. What a turnaround. This game has been turned around completely, and further inspiration from Norwich, this time by Darren Eadie. Goodman, now with Osborne, Bull is onside. It's Bull against Gunn, and this time Bull has won. Steve Bull's second of the afternoon. Wolves level again at 2-2. Goodman could have a strike from here. He does eventually. And he's got the third goal.
3-2 to Wolves, and City again unable to collect a victory in front of their own loyal supporters, who are becoming increasingly impatient about the running of the club. By the end of February, it was already becoming clear that Norwich and their next opponents, Millwall, both lacked the stamina for a sustained promotion challenge. And by the time they met at the New Den, neither could rule out the dreadful prospect of a battle against relegation. All the goals in this match came after the break. Bobby Bowery and Uwe Fuchs here scored for Millwall. Norwich's lone reply came from Mike Milligan, but it owed much to some rather unfortunate defending by Millwall. So 3 successive defeats, a sequence to be followed by 3 successive draws, the first a goalless match against Sheffield United. And by the time they made the 100-mile trip to Southend, there was no hiding the Norwich plight. They needed points. Paul Burns' cracking goal gave the lead to Southend, a team still harbouring hopes of a place in the playoffs. And that, of course, meant that the Norwich equaliser from Carl Bradshaw after 64 minutes was a big blow to their ambitions. For Norwich, it was a welcome away point, but by now it was almost 4 months since they'd won at home. Would the visit of Portsmouth bring a long overdue celebration?
Norwich have a corner, aimed at Newsom, comes out as far as Milligan. What a super goal by Mike Milligan. Unstoppable. The corner from Eadie, and the shot from Mike Milligan. Allen, Burton, now Hall. Paul Hall's 9th goal of the season, 39 minutes gone, and Paul Hall gets Portsmouth back in this game.
During the last 24 hours, Norwich has now agreed terms with Sheffield Wednesday and Derby County for the sale of John Newson and Ashley Ward.
That announcement from Robert Chase on March the 14th was just what the fans had been dreading. 2 of their prized assets sold to help balance the books at Carrow Road. Captain John Newsom went to Sheffield Wednesday for £1.6 million. And leading scorer Ashley Ward was on his way to Derby for £1 million. It was all depressing news for the team manager, Gary Megson.
I can react in 2 ways, and so can the players. I can roll over and die and let people shove me around, or I can roll my sleeves up and say that I know that there's a battle ahead, and I'm going to get on with it, and I'm going to win it.
The twin sails had certainly alienated the fans. What was needed was a winning performance in the next match at Reading. And sure enough, the players came up with a perfect tonic. They took the lead through Spencer Pryor after 17 minutes. No doubt 1 and possibly 2 defenders played their part, but nobody could deprive Pryor of the credit. And 2 more goals after the break completed a highly satisfactory afternoon for the Canaries. Darren Eadie, who'd come in for some pretty tough treatment from the Reading defenders, made it 2-0 after 55 minutes. The third goal was something of a milestone for Keith O'Neill, his first senior goal for the club, and a well-taken one at that. An encouraging performance then, and 4 matches without defeat for the Canaries. But by now the fans had learned not to build up their hopes too much. And they were certainly deflated again after the next game at Port Vale. Just 1 goal separated the teams. It was scored by Martin Foyle. By a strange twist of fate, Ashley Ward was back at Carrow Road for the next match with his new club. But the star of the show in that game was Jeremy Goss.
Yates did well then. And what a great goal from Jeremy Goss. Unstoppable from Goss. Another long ball forward by Crook. This time Yates got there, but Derby could do nothing about Goss.
By now it was impossible to know what to expect of the Canaries from one match to the next. March ended with a home game against Charlton, and with relegation still a threat. Just 1 goal settled the game, scored by Bradley Allen. And Norwich were 9 points above the relegation zone, having played 2 more games than most of their rivals. That defeat was followed by 2 tough-looking away matches at the start of April. Barnsley first, and a great start as Robert Fleck, with the help of a defender, put the Canaries ahead with just 3 minutes on the clock. The lead, though, didn't last too long. Barnsley's equaliser, a cracking shot from Neil Redfern. And the home side seemed set to collect all 3 points as Andy Payton put them ahead after an hour. But honours were even when stand-in striker Rob Newman rescued a point for Norwich with his first goal of the season. The ball just crossing the line before being cleared. Another away day, this time at Tranmere, would yield another point. Darren Eadie with the Norwich goal after half an hour, showing excellent composure to go round the goalkeeper and then beat 2 players on the goal line. But City unable to hang on for all 3 points. The man who came up with the Tranmere equaliser almost inevitably, John Aldridge. By now most Canary fans were eagerly awaiting the return match against Ipswich and hoping to complete a double. But first Huddersfield were at Carrow Road, and the match enabled Norwich to take a massive leap towards First Division safety. It took them an hour to make the breakthrough, Robert Fleck with his 50th goal in Canary colours. And a 2-0 victory was completed 9 minutes from time. Adi Akinbaye's 5th goal of the season. The celebration was typical Akinbaye, and the goal itself certainly took a little of the pressure off his team. Then it was on to the second East Anglian derby of the season, a vital match for Ipswich, who were still on course for a promotion playoff place. And as ever, the drama which unfolded would rival any soap opera.
Marshall, he's got it! On the break, it's Marshall, pumps one in, 1-0 to Ipswich. Ipswich on the counter-attack, the long ball forward, it's flicked on, hardly flicked on really, it's missed, and Marshall bangs it.
That's a great finish from Ian Marshall. Now no one gets a touch on, but Marshall reads it before anyone else, and that's a wonderful finish.
Newman firing it away towards Eadie. Well, he gets it. Walker's coming again. Oh, and he misjudged it, and Curitan's in here with a chance. He's got it! Only a few, and he's equalised after an error, sadly, by 38-year-old John Ward.
Well, maybe Gary Mexon felt that Watt was big enough to hold up the back and by, but Curitan could be a different kettle of fish. He bides his time, he lets it come down, and whack! What a great strike. I think Darren Eadie done well also to map that towards Curitan. But very quick in his feet, and that is a great finish.
Just about 5 minutes of the game left, and anything that Jim Rushton wants to add on to this little affair. Oh, what an error! How on earth did that happen? Extraordinary.
Quite unbelievable.
The Ipswich supporters come onto the field, and the face of Robert Ullathorne says it all. What on earth happened there?
This is quite incredible here. Robert Ullathorne says, there you go, Gunny. And oh dear, that is sad. It's a sad goal. You know, we said all along about the Ipswich Town pitch, and that is surely Well, what can you say? Brian Gunn must be absolutely heartbroken.
I had my eye on the ball, and I thought I was going to clear it up the other end of the pitch, and the next thing I knew, it was in the back of the net.
Is that the first time anything like that's happened to you?
I can honestly say I don't even think something like that's happened in training, and you know, it's a terrible feeling, but you know, hopefully I'm big enough to get over that. I just feel sorry for all the fans that came down today, and especially the players, because I thought there was only one team going to win the game today. I thought you know, we played remarkably well in the second half. Young Richards pulled off a few good saves, and you know, if that goal hadn't have gone in, I thought we possibly could have got the 3 points.
It was difficult to find a silver lining to this particular cloud, but as Mike Walker says, there will be a chance of revenge in the months ahead.
And the plus side, I suppose, is that we're still in the same league, and therefore, you know, there'll be a few fireworks again this year, you know, and let's hope that Norwich come out on top each time.
That defeat seemed to have hit Norwich hard as they fell behind against West Brom in their next match. It was less than a week later, and at home, Bob Taylor giving Albion the lead in the first half, with a goal taken in typical style. And then with an hour of the match gone, they doubled that lead through Richard Snakers, who'd recently joined the club from Bolton. But remarkably, 2 goals in the final 12 minutes meant the match ended in a draw. Jamie Curitan made it 2-1, and this time it was another goalkeeper who was left red-faced. And then after 84 minutes, Darren Eadie completed the comeback. It was a fine goal from Eadie, who showed great control and an excellent finish from the edge of the penalty area. The final home match of the season against Watford promised to be Ian Crook's last at Carrow Road before he was given a free transfer. Subsequent events, of course, would lead to him staying with the Canaries, but nobody could foresee that back in April, as Watford took the lead from the penalty spot through David Connolly. Inevitably, though, Crook would have a major part to play in events. He scored the Norwich equaliser in typical style, a perfectly placed free kick. That goal came after 55 minutes and looked like rescuing a point for Norwich. But then 12 minutes later, Crook was upstaged by an even more spectacular strike from Gary Porter. It was City's 7th home defeat of the season, but ironically, results elsewhere meant that the threat of relegation had finally been lifted completely from the Canaries. And in the week before the last game of the season, another dramatic chapter in the history of Norwich City Football Club, as chairman Robert Chase finally said goodbye, selling his shares to President Geoffrey Watling.
At 12 o'clock today, I sold all my shares in Norwich City Football Club to Mr. Watling. Those shares could now not be in safer hands. Very sadly for me, perhaps my saddest moment, was at 2 o'clock today when I resigned as a director of Norwich City Football Club. I believe that to be in the best interest of the club, and I believe that will now give the club the opportunity to reform and to move forward in the way we would wish it to do.
So after 10 years at the top, Robert Chase had left the club. And as the 1995-96 season ended with a trip to Crystal Palace, a new era was already taking shape. The players said goodbye to 95-96 with a 1-0 win, courtesy of David Hopkins' own goal. The bizarre nature of the goal seemed almost appropriate after the events of the previous months. And the final league table, well, that showed Sunderland as First Division champions. Derby were the other team automatically promoted, and after the playoffs, Leicester City and Martin O'Neill took the 3rd Premiership place on offer. Further down the table, having scored 59 goals and conceded 55, Norwich City in 16th place. The teams relegated to Division 2, Luton, Watford and Millwall. And just one more episode to be staged as Gary Megson's reign as manager came to an end, his place taken by this man, Mike Walker, the man who led the club through 1 or 2 glorious episodes.
Now you've got change, it's up to everybody at the football club, players, fans, supporters, the players rather as well, to pull now, directors as well, and put it back on where it should be and get it on an even keel.
Do you think it's fair to say there is now a smile back on the face of Norwich City Football Club?
I'd like to think so. You know, I think that's important now that we do that. A smile's important, a good atmosphere around the place that we had before, coupled with hard work, because if anybody thinks they're going to come in and it's not going to be hard work, then they're mistaken. It's going to be very difficult, but it can be done because there are people at the top who are a lot more positive and will share the load.
Now, to be realistic, what are your hopes and aspirations for the new season?
Well, I mean, I would say that if we finished halfway or above, I think we'll have done quite well considering all the trials and tribulations of the previous season. But being a manager and a coach and being involved, I mean, we've got to try and win the league. People might scoff at that. They may be right, they may not be. But when I took over at Norwich the last time, they'd only, a point from relegation. With the same players that were considered not good enough, we ended up being third in the Premier League. And I looked at that league when I first took over, and I thought, Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool, Leeds, where are we going to get the points from? But that same group of players did it. There's no reason why, with the same commitment, that we shouldn't do that this year. Who knows?
And of course there have been changes in the playing personnel, but there's still a few old faces who performed so well for you only 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and as I say, the new ones that are here, if people think they haven't performed well last season, as I say, a different manager, a different way of doing things, sometimes that can give them a lift. Sometimes similarly, you may not be able to cope with one or two, but I'm confident. I've always been positive, and I think we will get a good positive response from them.
Just look at the quality of the First Division this year. Some of the teams that have come down, the general view is it's going to be a tough one to get out of.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's without any doubt the time to get out was last season. I mean, players should have been bought at the right time early on, and I'm sure Norwich would have got out. But at the moment, obviously that didn't happen, so we can't worry about that. But this year it's going to be tougher because the likes of Manchester City, QPR, Bolton, Palace, who came with a run, Sheffield United, Birmingham are now spending money. And that's what I'm saying to you. But that's going to be difficult. But that's why I made the point about looking at the old Premier League and thinking, well, they won't be any tougher than that league. So as long as my players are confident and we can get a good style of play, we can do certain aspects of the game that I want right, then who knows?
So mid-table or above is the minimum aim for next season. What about the longer term ambition?
Well, longer term, we've got to aim to get back to the Premiership. It's as simple as that. Not from pride. I mean, the last time I was involved with any team was in the Premiership. So, it's hurt my pride, if you like, to have to come down and play and be involved in the First Division. I know it hurt a lot of the players that played with me in the Premier League before, who have now already sampled one season. I'm sure they don't want to stay more than another one. But that's more of a what should we say, a boost to make us want to do well and get back. But it's not going to be easy. But as I said, it can be done because once the club is sorted out up top and we can get it sorted on the pitch, the club's good enough and the fans will get behind us, we're good enough to go up.